Eric Monroe, a rare gem and an unsung hero in hip-hop photography. He also happens to be the guy that got me my start in writing for Thrasher and all the skateboard magazines. Maybe that help?
Yeah, sorry. Just one of them. Hip-hop. Exactly.
You got beat wars growing on your dome, that's why you're so dumb. I'll eat you like a plum. Messing with the brother on the beat. I say the rhymes that are kicking like feet. So don't let me start.
I was going to name my kid Nas.
No, you weren't.
I was.
Seriously?
I love Nas. Nas and Ghostface.
Seriously?
Like,
Oh, I got a good
forever.
image of Nas for you then. I don't know when there was a start. I just, I guess somewhere before high school even. Like I've always had cameras, like a camera, and just always just snapped pictures all the time. I never really considered it a profession per se. I mean, I always just did it. Like, you know, like whether we were skating, like going to a demo and taking pictures, or going here and taking a picture, or going here and just, it was always just a random taking picture kind of thing. I reached out to Brian Brennan, who at the time was the art director at Thrasher, and said, hey, Brian, I was like, because I think prior to that I had sent him some like skate photos or something weird I had sent him early on when this whole process was starting, and then he got something published. So I hit him back, I'm like, look, I'm just trying to get access to shows, you know, I'll send you the work, you know. He's like, but what would be better is if you can write an article to go along with it. I'm like, how hard can that be? So anytime I needed a gig, I'd call him and say, hey, can you give me a photo pass to here? He's like, yeah, sure. So he'd fax over a request, I'd get approval, and that's how I got access to all the shows. And then from there, people would just start seeing your face and then networking with the record label people that you met after a while.
Tell me more about the Biggie Tupac photo. Is that just a chance occurrence? I mean, what's the story? How did you meet them? Did you spend any time with them?
I don't remember the full what happened, but it was a typical moment where, as a photographer, you know, dudes will see you with a camera like, yo, take a picture of us, yo, yo, yo. And I'm like, and I'm not gonna say no, whatever. So it was one of those moments where someone in their entourage, it wasn't big, they said, yo, take a picture of us. And because I only took one frame tells me exactly how I shot it, you know, where I literally turned around, made sure they were like symmetrical to take a shot, you know, and then at some point Pac threw up his finger to, you know, not to block it, but just being typical Tupac. And I was just like, okay, whatever, and shot the picture because there was no concept in it, you know what I mean? It was just like, okay, leave me alone. Not to say leave me alone, it's disrespectful, but just like, okay, you want to take a picture? All right, now can I keep going? I just didn't think about it for years, or I didn't even know it existed for years, just because I saw a shadow over a dude's face and just didn't think about it until many years later when something made me stop and actually look at the frame, and I was like, fuck, Big and Pac in the same picture together, and they're all wearing I'm a Bad Boy shirt.
You shot just about everybody that mattered in 90s hip-hop.
Right.
Is there one photo that stands out, or one story that is over the top?
The first one that came to mind was when at Irving Plaza, well, the Roots used to play at Irving Plaza. I'm sure you probably heard the story before. The Roots used to play at Irving Plaza all the time. And then when Old Dirty Bastard went to jail, and when he came back out as Old Dirty Osiris or Little Baby Jesus, he was crazy, like just crazy. You know what I mean? Like you look at him, and I have pictures of him. He looks crazy when you look at him. So at a particular show, I was there earlier, whatever. Shot some pictures of Old Dirty with the Cold Crush brothers or whatever, and some other random pictures. The show starts or whatever, and he's like milling around, and then I'm either side stage or backstage or something, just bullshit, like just in my own little zone. And he walks up to me, and like at first he was crazy, then he like clicks out of craziness. He's like, hey, how you been? How's your cousin? Because he was referencing when we shot him his feature in the Source on the Lower East Side. You know, he was referencing that, asking about my cousin or whatever. And I like look at him, and I snap and whatever. I'm like, oh, she's doing good. He's like, yeah, that was fun, da da da. And then someone approaches us, and he clips back into crazy one. He's like, and like goes off. I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting to me when you'll go to a certain event or something, and when people reference or play 90s hip hop, the crowd obviously reacts completely different to like bullshit rap. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, the guys are making millions. I can't knock your hustle, but there's no long-term quality of life in that. I mean, I think it's the best era, period. Just because you had the 70s and the 80s, and basically that era of hip hop when the whole business was just like, okay, this is going to be a real business. And then you had the next wave of kids who were benefiting off of that, and the ears of the producers back then, like guys like Premier specifically, like the sounds that he came up with and pulled from, you know what I mean? And like Q-Tip, and it's funny, like looking at some of the different documentaries, like what Q-Tip's influences were and how methodical he is, and just like his credits, like who knew?
Tupac or Biggie?
It depends on the song.
No, it doesn't.
I like being like clay politically.
It's always Biggie.